Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 2016 school budget public hearing and the school committee meeting of April 25th, 2016. We've got a busy agenda tonight and a large crowd packed with a lot of very important and very busy people, so we're going to get right to business. Mr. Retchels.
Thank you. Motion to open the public hearing on the school budget public hearing.
Second. Aye.
Good evening. Each year at this time, I give you a presentation of our budget, and the school committee votes on it, and that is the number that we take to town meeting next week. So what I'm going to do this evening, and we don't usually have a crowd this size for our budget meeting, so it is a public meeting. Feel free at any point to put your hand up and ask a question. So what is the process to get us here? This is a cooperative process. It involves multiple meetings with the school committee, with the town accountant, with the finance committee, until we reach a number that works not only for the school district, but works for the town as well. Some years are better than others. Our budget tends to be rather volatile. 3 years ago, we were faced with a deficit. We had a failed override, and we had to cut $600,000 from our budget. Last year, because of added enrollment, due to the full-day kindergarten, we ended up with a very positive budget number. So it can be volatile from year to year. School committee voted in December. This number, $23,167,898, which is a 4.27% increase. And this is the number that we communicated with the Board of Selectmen and with the Finance Committee that would meet the needs of Rockland Public Schools. Looking at our history, getting full-day kindergarten was a great thing for Rockland Public Schools because it not only gave that service to our kids and families, but it also increased our enrollment, and when enrollment increases, state funding increases. And that translated to a $1.42 million increase last year. We're now a school choice district, so we can take students from other districts, and every student from another district that enrolls in Rockland Public Schools, we get $5,000. So this year it should generate over $150,000, which is a significant amount of money. We only have school choice in the middle school and the high school because they have the capacity. Our elementary classrooms are large enough, and we don't want to make them any larger by taking in students from other districts. But with capacity at the middle and the high school, this revenue stream is important for the stability of the district's budget. In the past, we've had to use our revolving funds. Revolving funds are money that comes in from other sources such as facility rentals, when we rent the gym, when we rent the auditorium, and also some tuitions like preschool tuitions, money like that. We've had to dip into those significantly in the past to make ends meet. Fortunately, right now, our special education costs are stable. The students that we have out of district in specialized schools, that cost has been stable, so that's a good thing. It can go up. One year, about 5 years ago, we had an increase of $450,000 in out-of-district tuitions over the summer from families that moved into town. And obviously we hadn't budgeted for that, weren't able to, so that can put a lot of stress on the budget. But right now those costs are stable. And we've been able to add positions as we go along, so some of that is because of increased enrollment. We added foreign language in the middle school last year, which we were very pleased to do. And we eliminated quite a few study halls in the middle school last year, which we were very pleased to do. So what issues do we face? Well, increased enrollment It's great because it brings in extra revenue, but it also comes with it. It puts demands on space in our schools, especially the elementary schools, and it requires more staff. So you have more kids, you've got to hire more staff. So you have costs associated with it. The Jefferson School and the Eston School are essentially at maximum capacity right now. We have some capacity in Memorial Park, but Jefferson School and Eston are pretty close to the max. As an aside, I can tell you that I've just submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority a statement of interest for a new elementary school. And the vision of that new elementary school is that we would combine the populations of the Jefferson School and the Memorial Park School into one large school, because both those buildings are nearing the end of their useful life as schools. Maintenance issues in the elementary school continue to be an added cost. Those buildings are really old, and what's inside the walls is really, really old. So that's some additional cost. We have to hire a librarian at the high school. We haven't had one this past year. Our librarian moved to another position in July last year, and we felt that we couldn't find a quality person over the summer, so we went without one for a year, so we have to hire a librarian. Our population of students who come from homes where English isn't the first language has increased dramatically. We've gone from 40 students to over 90 in the space of 2 years, and we have to add staff, English second language staff, by statute to service those kids. We have to invest in computer hardware at the elementary as we move to computerized testing, and also to properly prepare students for middle and high school. We have to invest in social and emotional help for kids. We have more and more kids, and this is not just Rockland, this is statewide, where kids have issues with anxiety, issues with depression, other mental health issues. Rockland's been ahead of the curve on that. We have full-time social worker at the high school, full-time social worker at the middle school, and we have almost 3 people, the equivalent of 2 full-time positions at the elementary school, and we plan to increase that. We're going to need more specialist teachers in the elementary going forward. Every time you hire a new teacher, they get a prep every day. Someone has to teach that class, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's computer. So that puts a staffing pressure on us. And we really need to put computer science as part of the high school's curriculum. That, I think, is at this time is crucial. We are proceeding going forward with a big push on coding from elementary right through high school, and we need the staff to do that. We're very fortunate in Rockland to have what we call the 70-30 split. And under this, any new income into town after fixed costs, the schools get 70% and the town gets 30%. And also includes any increase in costs to the VOCTEC or the Norfolk Aggie. We have to absorb those. This year, Chapter 70, which is state funding for education, was about $700,000. All of that was generated by increased enrollment. We have 70 more kids in the district this year than we had last year. They generate about $10,000 apiece in funding. So that's new funding. Of that 70,000, 210,000 went to the town, and 490,000 came to the school district. So our work in increasing enrollment helps not only us, but it also helps the town as well. This year, things were looking really good in the budget in January, but there was a huge increase in health insurance premiums for town employees. And that pretty well, that wiped out a lot of the increase. It would definitely have been over $1 million if it hadn't been for that. So the actual increase is $656,000, $656,233 over last year's budget, or 2.2%. This is how it's going to appear. I don't know if you can see that very well on the town warrant. You'll see it's Rockland Public Schools budget, and then WRPS, which is a flow through because it's added in as part of our budget that is taken out. South Shore VoTech tuitions, other vocational, which is Norfolk Aggie, and transportation, that's transportation to Norfolk Aggie. So all of that gives us a number slightly over 25 million. The budget that we get to spend on kids in Rockland Public Schools in this school year we're in was $22,217,898. We add in the $600,000 and we get to $22,874,131. Leaves the shortfall of $293,767. And we're going to make that up with some savings in VoTech tuitions and also school choice money. So having that revenue from school choice is really $150,000 or so a year is really going to help out. So summary, our financial stability still depends on increased enrollment. That brings with it staffing issues and space issues. We have to add 2 elementary teachers this year for increased enrollment. We have to add an English second language teacher and a librarian. Increase in health insurance premiums prevented us from having a true restoration budget. Restoration budget is something we've talked about the whole time I've been here. In fact, the previous superintendent 10 years ago talked about it. That is restoring all the positions and adding positions that you might find in wealthier districts back to levels of 15 years ago. We've added a lot back. But there's still positions we'd like to add. There's still things we'd like to do for the kids in Rockland that budgetarily we're not quite able to do at this point. So we're going to be able to level service. There's no cuts. We're going to be able to add about 5 staff. That would be English second language, 2 elementary teachers, a librarian, and a computer science teacher. And it's a good budget this year. But again, as I said before, everything depends on state funding next year. Every year, it's a new game. I can tell you that compared to districts around us, we're very stable. Rockland is very well managed financially, and the relationship and the work we do together, my side, we call them the other side of the street. The school side of the street and the town side of the street. It's cooperative, it's open, it's transparent, and it is the envy of a lot of towns around us. I'm going to, before I ask for a vote, I'm going to ask the committee to vote 2 numbers. First of all, the number for Rockland Public Schools and then the total educational cost. But before we do the vote, I'm open to any questions that anybody might have, either the committee or the audience.
Questions from the committee?
No, the only comment I have, Mr. Richards, is the financial well-being. The city of Brockton is facing $10 million in cuts. And this superintendent there has to decide by May 15th and how many teachers, looking at cutting 10 administrators. This whole new formula that the state put in these lower income cities and towns thought it was going to benefit them, and they've soon awakened to the fact that they have a $10 million cut, and we're looking at an increase in budget and bringing back some much needed programs. So I think it's fantastic.
Questions from the audience? Okay.
Make a motion to approve $22,874,134 for Rockland Public Schools budget.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's a vote.
Make a motion to approve a total budget of $25,030,366.
Vote second.
All those in favor? That's a vote.
Make a motion to close the public hearing and reconvene into the regular school committee meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's a vote. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the regularly scheduled school committee meeting of April 25th, 2016. The first item on the agenda is we have 2 sets of minutes that we need to approve. Can I get 2 motions for the minutes of the meeting of April 11th, 2016.
Two motions.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the Curriculum Corner. This evening we have the Eston School, grade 4, and we're going to be hearing about their responsive classroom. We're very much looking forward to this, and I think we've been invited to have a seat in the first row.
If you could just sit on this side of the table and let
Oh.
the children sit on that side.
I'd be happy to. Sure. Great.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble.
They won't read your notes.
Oh, they can read. We're missing is, John, do we have one more for this young lady?
Does he?
Yeah, but here we
Like it's all on there.
There we go. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Marilyn Smith, and the principal of Eston. And since I've been in Eston School, we brought in Responsive Classroom, which is an approach to teaching that deals with the academics and the social skills. So every day we start our morning with a morning meeting and a morning message. So the children are now going to take you through a typical morning. Joe and Brianna?
Good evening. My name is Brianna Hewitt. We start every day by coming into the classroom and starting our day off with morning meetings.
Good evening. My name is Joe Erner. This is an example of morning message. Each morning, the teachers all write a personal message to their class. I like morning meetings. Oh, yeah. Good evening. Tonight we will be representing the part of morning meeting to the school committee members. We will be talking about morning message, greeting, activities, and sharing. At the Esson, we love morning meeting because
I love morning meeting because it is a positive way to start the day.
I love morning meeting because if you are having a bad day, it gives you positive feelings.
It makes me happier.
I love morning meetings because it expresses your feelings. Thank you, the Esson School students.
Good evening. My name is Sophie Levy. The next part of the morning meeting is the greeting. The greeting is a positive way to start the day by saying hello.
Good evening. My name is Giovanni Cornell. I'm going to show you an example of a greeting we do called the lumberjack. Here is how you do it. So you put your thumb, and someone puts their other thumb, they put it over, then you go like back and forth.
Eye contact.
Pretty good. Good job.
Good evening. My name is Chloe Davis. The next part of morning meeting is the activity.
Good evening. My name is Simon. Some classes don't have using games, jokes, and jokes. We like to tell jokes.
What did one tip say to the other? Let's go for a dip.
And we also like to tell the holidays of the day.
Tomorrow's holidays are National Kid and Pet Day and Hug a Friend Day.
And School Bus Drivers Day and National Pretzel Day.
Good evening. My name is Logan, and at morning meeting we share about our lives. Good evening. My name is Grace Brennan. We get to know each other better when we share. For example, over vacation I went to Sky Zone with my cousins. Also over vacation, I went to my friend Kira's birthday party and had a chocolate teddy bear cake.
Guys, did you want to do your greeting to the school committee?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Mr. Retch, Mr.
All
Julie,
right, I
and
get
Mr.
that.
Lizzie.
You too, ready?
I like pretty good.
This also goes along with our district initiative of positive behavior incentives, and the kids get pause for showing remarkable things that they do each day. Kindness, respect, responsibility, which aligns with all three of our elementary schools and our core values. So I think they did a great job, and they do love morning meetings.
Thank you. All right, great job, kids. Thank you very much. Next on tonight's agenda, in our audience, we've got a couple of groups of Rockland High School students that we're all very proud of. We have the Rockland High School varsity cheerleaders and the Rockland High School varsity wrestling team. I'd like to welcome them both.
I'd like to invite Mr. Graziano
Okay.
up to introduce the teams and tell us about their seasons, which were amazing in both cases.
Good evening. I'm Gary Graziano, I'm athletic director. We're pleased to have the two of the four championship teams we had this winter. We had a very successful winter. We're going to start with the girls cheerleaders, the cheerleading team, and ask Miss Kim Reardon to come up and help us introduce the ladies. I will give you the highlights of the season and a few notes. The cheerleading team is led by Coach Janine Reardon, our own Rockland graduate, who never was a cheerleader but was a pretty fantastic athlete and treats these young ladies like athletes, and they work as hard as anyone. This year, they were the Winter 2016 South Shore League champions. They were also the 2015 in the fall. They won the regional championships in Division 4 in 2016, the Winter 2016 state championships in State Championship Division 4. They also won the New England Championships. At one of the competitions they were in the state championship, which had all divisions, they had the highest point score of anyone in the division, which meant they scored higher than any cheerleading competition team in the state of Massachusetts. Three of the members are not here tonight. They are at the World Championships. I didn't know where they had them until today, and that's where Janine is, because Haley Rice, Talia Rendon, and Carly Reardon are all on a competition team, and they just defeated 40 teams, and they're in first place, and their day tomorrow is the second round to face 25 more teams, but they're currently in first place. So at this time, I'd like for Miss Kim Reardon, who's a volunteer assistant, to introduce the young ladies, and again, it was quite a 4 years for the seniors who won 4 state championships in a row, and we want to congratulate them.
I have senior Bella Rendon and senior
Come on
Sam
up, ladies.
Aylward, Ari Rusa, Brittany Keefe, and Bella Burns, and Kelly Anderson.
Kelly Anderson. And this is the team. A few ladies had to work. Some are doing the competition in Florida, and some could not make it this evening. But we're glad we have who we have here tonight. Congratulations on a great 4 years.
Yeah, ladies, before you go, the two seniors, can you go up to the mic and tell us what the plans are for next year? We had all the other teams do it.
We have the seniors tell us what the plans are. We just discussed it today in my office, and now you tell them what you're doing.
Alright. I'm gonna go to Framingham State in the fall, and then this spring of my sophomore year, I'm gonna study abroad in Australia.
Good for you. Good for you.
Major in business, we think.
And he thinks I'm gonna major in business.
Marketing, because she presents very well and communicates very well. That's what we talked about.
Sam, I wouldn't
Sam
listen.
Elwood.
Sam, I wouldn't listen to Gary. He was a vocational
I know
teacher.
what
I
I'm
was a
doing.
guidance counselor.
Bella Rendon.
Most likely going to Curry College for early childhood education.
Excellent.
Great.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ladies.
And our second team is our co-op wrestling team with Abington High School. Both of our coaches have a track meet this evening. They coach at Hannibal High School. Head coach Tim Brown was the league, coach of the year in the South Shore League. We won the South Shore League championship this year, defeating all South Shore League teams in a very exciting last match at Cohasset, where it came down to the last three wrestlers. One wrestler from Abington, that was Cam Smith, I believe. Am I right? And then we had Timmy Fitz and Adam Russo. It had to come, we told Timmy, James Fitzgerald, not Timmy, his brother, who I had in football. Jimmy Fitz was told he better not lose the wrestling match. You can lose and give up 3 points, but you can't get pinned. What did James Fitzgerald do? He won 4-3. And then Matt Russo went and pinned his opponent from Cohasset for the win to secure the championship. It was an exciting night. Yeah, the other guys won too, but those were the most exciting. And my buddy Mike Norris was told, you better not lose either or get pinned because we need the points, and he did not get pinned. So congratulations to those guys. So I would like to, at this time, call up Captain Brad Gazdia and next year's captain, Alex Freeman from Abington. If Brad could announce, call up the Rockland guys. How's that? All right. Just call them up randomly. It's okay. Or not all of them are here. Most of them made it though.
All right. Captain John Good, Don Ferrante, Sean, Timmy Fitzgerald, Brad Cedar, Adam Russo, Bowman, Mikey Norris,
First to last name.
William Bradmore, Mikey Norris.
Mike Norris.
And
Alex?
Bob Carey, Tommy Cagdon, Jared April.
And we have Jared is a senior and Brad is a senior. Is that correct? Right. That's who's those are our graduating. We have most of the team coming back. We had 5 All-Stars, and it was an exciting season. Rockland Wrestling is back on the map, and we're very proud to have Abington join us. It's a great co-op team, and I think that all the kids agree with that. Thank you.
I'm attending Bryan University in Newport, and I have not yet decided on a major.
Excellent. Jared Abrams from Abington.
I'll be attending Montreal College in Beverly, Mass, and I'm going to be majoring in animation.
Excellent. Awesome. Good luck.
Good job, guys.
They have the championship jackets that were provided by our athletic boosters.
I just gotta ask I gotta ask the Abington guys. You get any trouble when you walk in with a blue and white bulldog collar, even though it says Abington on it? A little bit.
I get a little angry, but I had an answer. Now, we're going to win next year too, so the design of next year's jacket is going to include some Abington green in it. So that I had to promise that to the athletic director. He said, "What happened?" I said, "It says Rockland Abington on it." He thought it should have been a little green. I said, "I didn't go with the navy blue, but we'll work on it for next year."
Well, if you look inside of you guys, I'm thinking not too many people are giving you too hard of a time
Yes,
over
sir.
there.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, Mr. Gazdia, there's a tradition there. I think his dad wrestled, his older brother wrestled, now he's wrestling, so it's a nice thing to see. And secondly, thank you to you for putting all these kids in a situation where they can succeed and do as well as they've done. It doesn't just happen, but with your work of scheduling and everything else that you do for them, it's appreciated.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's a great coaching staff. It's not me, but and Brad's brother continued to wrestle at Bridgewater, and Brad was one of the top wrestlers in the state this year. So we're looking forward to next year and the younger kids. And I wrestled one of the wrestlers. Each season I pick one, that really needs a lesson to be taught. With the person who I had to wrestle, please stand up.
Wait, what about Fitzy when he tossed you?
I only wrestled 103 pounders. I got beat by the 135 pounder James Fitzgerald. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, guys. We're both very proud of both of your teams. Great job, seniors. For those of you that are graduating this year, we hope to have you come back and continue to support your respective teams, the other teams that we have here. So great job, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Great job. Do they want to leave?
Yeah, by the way, guys, don't feel free that you have to, guys and girls, don't feel that you have to sit here for the rest of the meeting. Don't feel bad about getting up and leaving and heading home to your families.
They did have a great lesson on budgets. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Can you get a 10 spot to go home with Tim?
No, he's not leaving. He's sitting out front.
All right, the next item on our agenda this evening is correspondence, and we're going to look for approval for the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, the West Augusta Assembly, the flyer for them. Do I have a motion for acceptance?
We need a recommendation.
Yeah,
from the superintendent first.
Okay.
Yes, this is a nonprofit Masonic organization. I think the flyer is very clear as to what they're offering, and they also give an email address if parents need any further information. So I am recommending distribution grades 4 to 9.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. That's a vote. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Mr. Retchels.
I'll be brief this evening. First of all, our students returned from Italy successfully. They had a wonderful time. Ms. Walsh, the teacher in charge, posted many photographs every day, and it was wonderful to see our kids, all those smiling faces taking in those wonderful sights in Italy. They had a remarkably packed itinerary. I couldn't believe that they did as much as they did in a week. So that it certainly bodes well for a continuation of our foreign travel in Rockland High School. The Arts Festival was a great success again. I think this year was, to my eye, one of the best I've seen in my 9 years here. So I just want to congratulate the art teachers, both in the elementary schools and the middle and high school, for the consistency of effort and the consistency of quality from kindergarten right through the 12th grade. And finally, I'd like to remind everyone that the spring musical is upon us, Chorus Line, which is this weekend, and it should be quite a show. I know that the Mr. Piazza, the music director, has put together an all-star band, and I'm not being facetious about that. Some well-known jazz musicians, Dr. Cron is playing as well, and the students have been putting a tremendous amount of work into it. So I would encourage everybody to come and see Chorus Line Friday and Saturday night.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, financial reports for March. We have 4 reports, one from the school department, one from the high school student activities, and one from the middle school student activities, and one from the cafeteria. Do I have 4 motions for acceptance?
Full motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, that's a vote. Next on the agenda, which I know many of you in the audience are here for this evening, is our daycare, our Rockland daycare. 1 year ago, coming up very soon, we all got together in this very room here and had a contentious yet productive meeting talking about the future of the Rockland daycare. We had agreed a year ago today that we would revisit the topic and talk about the progress that would have been made in the calendar year. Having had the opportunity to be in several of the daycare committee's meetings over the course of the past year, I want to compliment them on their efforts. They've done a fantastic job. Their meetings were productive and well run by their chairman, Mr. John DuPont. The results that they have shown us over the course of the last year have been nothing short of remarkable. The staff at the daycare has done an absolutely outstanding job of working hard to right the ship. And I know we're going to be hearing a little bit more about that tonight, John, is that right?
In terms of,
So, is anybody hearing anything from anybody from the daycare tonight at all? Or?
No one contacted me from.
Okay, very good.
No.
Okay, any questions or concerns from the committee before we consider the vote?
I would just like to say, like Dan, I attended many of the meetings, and this is, to me, a great story. Because it was in sorry shape a year ago, as we all know. And what the group of parents have done, along with the cooperation of the people that use the daycare, I think is magnificent. I mean, they all but made about almost every dime of deficit and brought the thing into at least a break-even situation, doing it by all different ways, with fee increases, enrollment increases. But to me, it's the way things are supposed to work. It really was. We came here a year ago, as Dan said, and we were in a pretty bad situation. But instead of people complaining and woe is me type stuff, they put their nose to the grindstone, and it's, to my way, it's worked out wonderfully.
I'm astounded they've been able to come back, and I think it's fantastic they've been able to come back. I know they still probably would like to do some more, go forward, maybe bring it a little bit closer, expand the programs. But I would like to make a motion on a couple of subjects. Number one, I'd like to make a motion that we continue Rockland daycare. The other motions that I will add to that is that we do a yearly financial review. This has nothing to do about closing it, but just a yearly financial review of Rockland daycare prior to town meeting, so that we can look at whether we're at the right rate and all that other kind of stuff. And one other thing, not as a motion, but the Rockland Daycare Advisory Committee, unless we reappoint it, which I don't think we necessarily have to, will have to disband after town meeting, because it's not a town meeting committee, and unless we reform it again. So I don't know if maybe they want to, what do you think, John, about moving forward, just have their own pack like every other school does? Not necessarily something that you're involved in as intimately as you've been.
I think that I know that the chairman is not returning, and the co-chairman the vice chairman has indicated that he's not interested in taking the chair. I do believe there should be some sort of advisory committee.
But I was thinking more like a pack like every other school.
Yeah, exactly. So my recommendation would be that the remaining members of the committee come together, and then we can have a discussion of where we want to go. But I see that the co-chairman just walked in, Brian.
Just in time?
Just in
Just
time.
part of my lateness. I had lacrosse practice.
How'd Gavin do?
We won't hold that against you.
So I think if we call a meeting of the remaining members, and I think an advisory type pack is really the way to go.
So my motion would be to keep Rockland Daycare open, and to have a financial review and an audit of rates on a yearly basis prior to town meeting.
Yeah, personally, I don't have any problem with that. To me, it's kind of what the superintendent and the assistant superintendent does anyway, or should be doing, is like they do with the school budget. They monitor it monthly, and so we know how things are.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I just want, I think we got in this position because honestly, we didn't do a good job and keeping an eye on it like we do every other program. And I think we need to do a better job so that we don't ever get in this position again.
In addition to the annual review, I know Colleen Ferlizzi and Mr. Retchless have mentioned that they would, in our monthly reports, we get a monthly report every month on the daycare, so that not only annually but every single month that we have a good status a status update of where things lie. So I think the combination of those items, I think, would give us a good prudent path going forward. So do I have a second to keep the daycare open?
Second.
And do I have a second to revisit the financial situation to review the financial situation on an annual basis?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor of the second motion?
Aye.
Okay, that's a vote, 2 votes. I want to congratulate all of you.
That's awesome.
I think you've all done a fantastic job. It's a great example of a community getting together and finding something that's important to them. And clearly this was a program that was important to all of you, important to the staff. We heard you, and you've done a great job, and the proof is in the pudding. Great job. Thank you very much.
Quick question.
Please.
How do we keep it you know, you said you want to get back every year and look at the budget, and I know you said you're going to look at it monthly. How do we go from making sure that, so in a year, are you saying that if the budget isn't good?
No question about keeping it open. I mean, the only thing that's gonna, if all of a sudden, yeah, we found out we
I
were.
just don't want it to get to that point.
No, we don't, no, and that's why we need to keep, I'm telling you, we're taking part of this blame. We need to do a better job at looking at this budget on a regular basis.
I'm not blaming anyone. I think
No, but I'm gonna blame myself, all right? I've been here for 14 years. I'm gonna take some of that blame, that we should have done a better job looking at it. But I think on an annual basis, we need to see the financial health, like we do every other program. You know, we got rid of French for a year because it just wasn't making financial sense. We had to redo the program. So it's like every other program. I think we kind of, honestly, just let this one kind of go to the side and took no responsibility for it. So I think if we look at it monthly, but every year we come together and just review it, okay, this is where we're at, our rates are working, or maybe we gotta change our rates. Every year we look at rates for high school sports, we look at lunch, lunch rates. This is just, we look at rental rates by reviewing those budgets, so I think just daycare needs to be the same thing, but we need to do our due diligence to make sure we do it on a regular basis.
I think what he's saying is you deserve more attention than you're getting, and we're going to make sure that you get that attention, to make sure that the program remains healthy, and to make sure that everything's going perfectly, and that you're supported both by us and the superintendent's office.
And the director should be able to answer your questions relative to finances. If somebody wants to check with her 3 months into the year and say, how are we doing? She will know. Or he will know, whatever. But they'll know.
I'm unfortunately out in 2 months because I'll have a kindergarten, but I just don't want to see the.
Right.
No.
Neither way.
And we heard that loud and clear, by the way. There was a lot of support coming from folks who aren't necessarily still at the daycare, but they valued the service and the community they were a part of while being there maybe last year or even many years ago. So we heard that, and we heard all the progress that you've made in the last year. Go ahead, Mary.
On a good note, I just want to let everyone know that as a staff, from where we were last year this time, we're proud to stand and say we have 96 children that are enrolled within the program. Our goal was to come in here with 100, but we didn't make it, but we're still very, very excited about the fact that we have 96 children and families that we can tend to on a daily basis.
People are still learning that you're in existence, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing because of the work that you've done.
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Retzels. Without you bringing this to our attention last year, the daycare wouldn't be as great as it is today.
Thank you. This is a much nicer meeting than the
Boy, that's the first time. That's the first time anyone's ever thanked you for bringing up this issue, because I know I didn't thank you.
Well, that's a great point. That's a great point, because it's a better daycare today than it was 1 year ago. Yeah.
All because you read the program.
Honestly, I think it woke everybody up. Parents, staff, us, the public.
It put the daycare on the map.
Yep.
It sure did, didn't it?
Should I close it again, get 110 kids?
Well, great job, all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, tremendous job.
Go ahead, yeah,
Question.
please.
How does the PAC move going forward? If we're disbanded as of May 2nd, which is next week?
Monday.
Monday, we technically can't reconvene then to decide.
Well, you can do anything you want.
You can reconvene, and I think that would be the thing to do through the director to get a group together, like you've had, to meet however the group wants to meet, whether it's monthly or however they want to do it.
So if that PAC, whether I'm part of it or not, or going forward, and I would be, we would still do our analysis. And
Again, you guys appoint your own members. At this point, you would not be appointed by the school committee.
No, right, but do we still have to, we would make recommendations to Mary and she.
Oh, yeah, we have PACs at every other one of our schools. The only difference is, unless that committee is formed under a town meeting article, it cannot exist. We would have to recreate the committee after next Monday. So you can only have it as a one-year advisory committee, then it has to be reappointed. So at this point, you guys can appoint your own members instead of involving us and let you guys handle it with the same reviews that we already have. But I think you guys would be better equipped to handle it than.
I mean, and now it's become, rather than the conundrum that we were in a year ago and have a real formal committee, now it's more of an advisory committee to kind of keep your fingers on the pulse of things, financially where you are, express any concerns you have through the director, so they would come to the assistant superintendent and make them known. We'll know what's going on too. If anything seems to be going Sunday, we'll let you know, believe me. But I don't anticipate that. I don't anticipate it at all. I think it's been great.
And you know, there's a lot of great things that came out of this committee outside of finances. You know, there was the Facebook page that you're able to raise enrollment with. There was the signage. There's a lot of great ideas that you've all come up with as far as being involved with the community to let everyone know that you're there. These are great things that we hope that you continue to come up with as time goes forward to continue to make Rockland Daycare a better place. You know, we can always strive to be better in every organization that we're in. And certainly this one is no exception. But in the meantime, this past year has been remarkable. I'm proud to have worked with all of you. Thank you very much, really. And I'll extend the same courtesy to all of you that I did with both the ladies and gentlemen that were over here. We'd love to have you join us and continue the rest of the meeting to sit with us here. But if any of you have kids to get home to, and
Before they leave, then I want to say something.
Please
Before
go ahead.
anybody leaves, next Monday night, May 2nd, 7 o'clock, town meeting. Please, you guys want to make changes to the daycare? We got a lot of things going on in town. There's a vote on
one article.
An article for the capital improvement of the daycare.
Right.
$20,000 for improvements in the
So
daycare.
there's daycare on there, there's a roads project, there's a new turf field stadium presented by the park department, which if you kids are, and I'm not telling you how to vote, but if you have all these young kids in there, it's not gonna benefit me, because mine are all in high school, they'll be out the door. But I know I'm gonna be out there supporting it, so it's your young kids. And then there's also some zoning changes to be made to Southfield, which will benefit the town of Rockland with changing some open space, some 40B housing and things like that. So please, friends, neighbors, anybody get out there. We need a quorum, 7 o'clock Monday night. We can't get the town's business done. And then my favorite thing is, if you don't come to town meeting and you don't vote, then I don't want to hear you out complaining. You know, I mean, I can't stand when I see people out complaining and then I go check the town records and they haven't shown up for town meeting for 3 years in a row, I haven't voted in the last 4 elections. So just for those people that like to complain, it is a public record whether you show up or not. So please get out there and support the town, whether you agree or disagree with any of these things, but there's a lot of things going on that need your input. So I would appreciate that. Now we can let them leave. I don't
All right.
know. Well,
Thank
it's
you.
important to get them out there.
It is very important. Thank you again, everybody.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being involved.
Next on tonight's agenda,
We table this?
I don't think so. Next on tonight's agenda, we've been asked by the Board of Selectmen to make a recommendation on the South Shore Vocational Technical Schools next school committee member appointee. And John, I believe that we have an applicant here to join us tonight.
We do. Mr. Bob Mahoney's here. Bob has called me and has expressed interest in being the Rockland member of the VoCTech School Committee. Bob, if you just come up to the microphone and the committee will grill you.
Just a little bit, Bob Mahoney, 16 Maple Street, Rockland. I've been a former, just a little background with my relationship with South Shore. I've been a former football coach down there for 12 years. I've coached basketball a couple times, baseball 1 year, and actually even hockey, where they've run into problems with people helping out. Since I retired from coaching 2 years ago, I've been involved with the school council committee, which is a committee put up with administration, teachers, faculty, students, parents, and community. For the last 2 years, I've been a community member, looking at different things throughout the school. One of the things we did 2 years ago, and I've been heavily supporting this, is to look at opening up more vocational programs into the school. My firm believer is vocational first with college option. I think that's what the school should be based on. So with that being said, we try and do studies. Dr. Hickey, the superintendent down there, is incorporating a plumbing program. He's trying to get that incorporated this coming year with HVAC. Last year, myself and one of the teachers, Mr. Filano, Matt Filano, he's a Rockland resident as well, but he teaches down there. And we went out into a couple of vocational schools and did a study on horticulture, which I think in the 8 community towns that support South Shore VoTech, I think there's a lot of people that use a lot of landscaping in that issue. And the other thing that I was thinking was, if someone from Rockland wanted to go to horticulture school, like as Dr. Rector showed in the presentation of the budgets, then you'd have to pay to go to Norfolk Aggie, and the transportation is incredible. So with South Shore, you don't have to pay transportation, but you just get that fee for that one person. So it's saving the town a lot of money, I think, by coming up with programs such as that. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to your support. I'd love to get your support and recommendation to the selectmen for this position. I show a lot of passion with that. I've been involved with town groups here, park commissioner for 11 years. I was on the planning board for 11 years in Rockland. So being involved with committees is what I like to do.
Any questions from the committee?
No, I know Bobby a couple of years.
Phew.
And I know he loves kids. That's bottom line. And I would like to see him in that position personally.
I would echo that. I mean, Mr. Mahoney and I have had many spirited debates with the, he and I are actually closer on what we think about vocational education than sometimes people think. I agree with him. They need to get back to vocational education with college being an option. I think too much time they've been making college the option. The vocational kids have been kind of left behind. But Bob and I have had some spirited debates about vocational education, but I think he would represent Rockland very, very well, our interests very, very well, and especially, mostly the kids' interest. I think that's what he's out for. The only thing he ever wanted to get himself in trouble for is when the basketball team had some trouble against Votech. He called me 7 times in a row in an hour, but that's okay. But he still has my support, so I think he would do a fantastic job. So I would make a recommendation that we forward the recommendation of Bob Mahoney to the Board of Selectmen for the Rockland representative to the South Shore Vocational Technical School Committee.
That's a motion, I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much. Just
Good
wanna
luck,
let you know,
Bob.
Yeah, be in communication with all of you, and I will not be an absentee member of representing Rockland.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bob.
Even
Thank
before
you.
Bob was interested in this position, I hear from Bob often on, his interest in Rockland schools and care for Rockland schools and the town of Rockland as a whole. He's certainly exemplified that for a very long time. And I know we've talked a lot about Votech and issues relative to philosophy of Votech. And I know Bob's going to be into this 110%. So congratulations, Bob. Thank you. Thank you. Next on tonight's agenda is a revision of the 2016-17 school calendar. Mr. Retchless?
We have a minor revision. The principals of the middle school and the high school revisited their parent conference dates and wanted to shuffle them a little bit. The new date for the Rogers Middle School parent conferences is 11/17 and 11/18. And in the spring parent conferences at Rockland High School are now on 4/25. So I'm just asking if the committee would approve that change.
Make a motion, I don't see any reason why not.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, that's a vote.
Thank you very
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the second reading of the request for approval for the 2016-17 Ease, Leap, and Steps Handbook. Any commentary or addition to that, John?
This was unchanged from the previous
Okay.
year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, fundraisers. We have one fundraiser for approval.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, just a report. It's just a report for your information from the Rockland High School Student Services Department. Looks like they did a great job. They collected $1,200 and it netted $280. So congratulations, great job. Next on the agenda, senior junior prom. At our last meeting, our school committee reviewed the senior activities that were going to be coming up for this calendar year. And I know, as always, our committee's hearts is in the right place. This year, for the first time, they're going to be having a joint prom between the junior and senior classes. So being that uniqueness as it may, when we were reviewing the senior activities, there was some concern that the committee had heard from the community that some of the junior class might have been left out of the Grand March. And it was our sentiment as a committee that we felt very strongly at the time of the reading of this a couple weeks ago that we didn't want to exclude anybody. That if it was going to be a junior and senior prom, then juniors and seniors should be included together. That was the feeling of the committee at the time. Not long into the week following the meeting, I received a call from Mr. Retchless and a call from Dr. Cron that there was some concern from both the senior class and the junior class that they were concerned about the decision that we had made to amend the senior class activities to include the junior class in the Grand March. I was invited to come to the high school, to the principal's office, to sit with Dr. Cron and the president of the senior class and the president of the junior class.
Call the principal's office again.
I'm sorry?
You were called to the principal's
I was
office.
called to the principal's office again, which I became quite accustomed to during my time in school. But I sat with the senior class president, Michael Ahern, and the junior class president, Kaylee Patton. Our meeting started with Michael very eloquently and clearly describing to me his concerns about the decision that the school committee had made at our previous meeting. He talked about the Grand March being something that has been valued to seniors in the town of Rockland for a very, very long time. Particularly this class, this Grand March was reinstituted in their freshman year, and they were very much looking forward as a senior class to having that time together, exclusively as a time to enjoy their senior prom together. They really wanted to have that exclusively be theirs without the juniors there. Then Kaylee began to tell me a little bit about her concerns. I was a little bit surprised to hear that she told me that she felt that as a collective group, the junior class also did not want to be included in the Grand March. They felt as though that they were also going to be having their senior experience taken away from them the following year. She felt so strongly that they wanted it to remain this to be a senior class exclusive activity that she told me that if the junior class was included, that they simply would not attend. I heard their voices, and I think that they're right. You know, I think that the school committee, sometimes we do a great job of keeping our hearts in the right place and making things go correctly, and sometimes we can let our hearts get ahead of our brains, and I think in this case we did. I think that it's up to the school principal and the class advisors to make such decisions. I think in this case, out of our good hearts, we kind of acted a little too quick. So I asked Mr. Retchels to place on the agenda tonight that we might reconsider that decision and might go back to having just the seniors be included into the Grand March. So with that,
I was the one who brought up the issue, and I personally want what the kids want, and I didn't realize that the tradition that this Grand March was for seniors and seniors alone. And that being said, and getting the input from the junior class, I'm very much in favor of leaving the things as they originally were and letting the senior class enjoy this privilege by themselves.
I have no problem going back, but I will tell you that the issue that this has raised, and Ms. Baldington, Dr. Cron is not here. I see two students hiding in the corner. You guys representing your class?
Yeah.
Okay. So the issue that I'm now getting from this, and I have no problem with going back to this, but the issue I'm now getting is from the juniors and from the seniors about why we are in this position to have a combined prom. Now, my understanding, Kathy, is it true that it's a financial situation?
Yeah, that was the larger portion of the decision.
Okay, so I guess the question that has come up from parents, in all honesty, is if it's a financial issue, what are we doing at Lombardo's with the 25 or 30-foot chandelier at a cost of $15,000 for the prom if a financial issue was the problem, that we had to combine these two proms and create this issue in the first place?
I think it was the cost, basically, of having the two proms. They would have the parents and the students would have the cost, not only in their junior year, but also in their senior year.
But next year we intend to go back to two separate proms, my understanding.
I have not heard that specifically, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I just might be out of the loop on that.
Well, it probably maybe all depends on affordability next year, depending upon what the kids can do, because I know that
Right,
it's getting.
but every year it's based on the fundraising that the
Yeah.
classes do leading up to the event.
Well, I understand that. So I guess what the issue is, the juniors' parents and some students' complaint is that because the fundraising was not done by the seniors, the juniors have now suffered to have to do a combined prom with the seniors because the seniors don't have enough money to have their own prom.
And again, I thought that, my understanding was that there was kind of a policy change that was going to be kind of going forward to one prom. But I may not be fully informed. I thought going forward, that's what kind of we were heading towards for the overall cost.
What's the feeling of the junior, I know it's you speaking for yourself, what's the feeling of the junior class?
Our feeling is we really don't want to, the issue that we have with the Grand March is
I'm not talking about the Grand March. The Grand March I would agree with, but what's your feeling about a combined prom?
we don't want to walk on the seniors and their tradition because we feel that as a senior class, the prom is kind of one of the last things that you get to do together as a whole class, and we just feel that they would have probably wanted to just have their own class and have that night as just their own and not have the juniors there with them.
So I think, Mr. Russell, this has probably raised another issue that we need to look at for next year.
Absolutely.
Because,
Absolutely.
I mean, I have no problem, and again, all of us agree here, the juniors don't want to go and the seniors don't necessarily, not the seniors don't want them there, but they want their own tradition. But if that's going to be the fact, we need to get back to looking at why this happened like this, whether it was a financial issue, and if that's the case, then the seniors have to pick. I don't know if they have to go to Abington VFW because they didn't raise enough money. They can't afford to go to Lantana. Now they've got the juniors on their backs who have done a fantastic job doing fundraising, and kind of at their expense, the juniors is getting kind of combined with the seniors, and they're the ones who are getting, basically the juniors are the ones getting shortchanged.
I'll do an analysis and put it in the Thursday mailing, Mr. Norris.
Very good. So I would make a motion that we rescind the vote to include the juniors in the Grand March.
Second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Seeing nothing under new business, next on the agenda is personnel information for the months of March and April. Anything?
Yes,
Okay.
we have some notable retirements and resignations. Sandy Gibson, longtime art teacher and department head, is retiring at the end of the school year. And she's going to be a tremendous loss to the district. I am pleased to announce that Cheryl Thompson, her partner in the art department at Rockland High School, will be the new department head. Big shoes to fill. Sandy's done a great job,
great department.
kindergarten through 12th grade. And,
Very creative stuff.
she'll be missed. Eric Hafner, the school psychologist at the Rogers Middle School, is retiring. When the Rogers Middle School, before the new building, when you had a principal, an assistant principal, one guidance counselor, and Eric, he was a rock. He was a tremendous, really helped hold the place together, and he's also done tremendous work in the new building, and so he will definitely be missed. Jen Wozniak, science teacher at Rockland High School, is resigning. As you know, Ms. Wozniak came to us from industry. She's an MIT trained engineer, and she's been a tremendous inspiration during her time here. She initiated and promoted the robotics program, which has been such a tremendous success. She's been involved with the volleyball team and other sports and extracurriculars, and Ms. Wozniak is returning to industry.
She'll definitely be missed.
Thank you, Mr. Reschlis. Last on tonight's agenda, public service announcements.
Oh, just
Phelps.
kind of echo what the superintendent said. There are a lot of great things going on in the schools. I attended the Spelman Oratorical a couple of weeks ago. It's amazing what these kids do. It truly is what they can. It's impressive, to say the least. There are concerts coming along. The musicals coming along. Watch the kids from Rockland perform. They're really, really remarkable kids.
The only thing I have is continue to check the website on school sports. Things have been kind of changing. I know the softball team was ahead today. I didn't see what the final score was, and the boys' baseball team is over in North Quincy playing at Adams Field, and I believe they were down after the first 3 innings. And also, it's coming up for parents and kids, the seniors, May 1st. Most all of them have to decide whether they're going to college. But it's my annual time to continue to remind them at every meeting to do the right thing, do the smart thing. I have had the unfortunate experience as a member of this committee on more than one occasion to tell a high school student and a high school student's parents that they would not be allowed to walk in graduation due to something they did outside of the school building but is in the student handbook. So I'm just hoping this year that we don't go through that again. Every year I say that and something always pops up. So I just want to remind those kids to be smart, be safe. I will say Dr. Cron has implemented a policy which I think is great. He gave them about a month ago he told the seniors if they were later absent 5 times before the end of school, they were going to have to come back after they were out of school to make up finals. So I think they're kind of on their toes, and I don't think they want their name hanging up in the guidance department that they have to come back in June to make up those finals. So I just implore those kids, do the right thing, make the right choice, and then they'll have a great future. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Norris. You stole my thunder a little bit. Coming into this spring season, it's an exciting time of year for seniors and juniors and everybody in high school getting ready to finish up the school year. We just hope that everyone is being safe. The warm weather's coming, weekends. Be safe. Be safe. Don't make bad decisions that might cost safety or health or certainly senior activities. The other thing I got is I promised my office manager at work, being a member of the Kiwanis Club, that I would discuss or mention tonight about the Rockland Kiwanis Bicycle Safety Rodeo that'll be happening on May 14th here in Rockland from 9 to 1 o'clock. What they're going to be doing is free bicycle safety inspections, training and safety equipment. From what I understand, every child that attends will be receiving a free bike helmet, so it's really a great program. They're also looking for people to volunteer. If there's anybody who's interested in taking part in this, or giving of your time or resources to be able to take part in this, it really is a great event. But for any of you who have young children at home, it is going to be very, very valuable to them to learn bike safety and traffic and safety equipment. So with that, I would entertain a motion to conclude tonight's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a great night.